do this, shall we? There we go. Okay. Sorry, I had to itch I was itching real quick. I got tissue over here. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Nick here with another edition of our Nick's Big Brother 24 recap show. Sorry, it's been a long minute, but I had to switch gears to get ready for the Video Music Awards, and now those are done and over with. Now we can focus on Big Brother, which is good, by the way. Got my Zingbot shirt on today. Just thought I'd put that out there. But anyway, we need to put our focus back on the Big Brother because it is now September, which means Endgame we have now entered Endgame, which means there are only, let's see, today's the 6th. We have 19 days until we crown the winner of Big Brother. And currently in the house, we only have 7 people left. So there's quite a bit we have to do in 3 weeks before we get our final 3. So, but we're going to talk about that later. In the meantime, let's just get on with our spoiler board. I've got 3 rounds of competition that we need to get covered. So let's jump into it, shall we? But stop, hold on. I need to bring you up to speed on what happened last time on the recap show. So last time, okay, so I'm actually going to do this first. We're going to talk about this first. This was on my slide last time. We got introduced to the split house twist. So what's going to happen is the top 10 house guests will be split into 2 groups. 2 different Big Brother games will commence. They will not have any contact with the other side until the double eviction happens. The twist lasted for an entire week. August 25th was when we had a double eviction, kinda, because what it was is one side evicted their person, the other side evicted theirs. So that's why I said it was kind of a double eviction. It's different from how we've done double evictions in the past, if you've been watching Big Brother, which we'll talk more about that later. Now let's switch gears on to last time on the recap show. Michael and Terrence both won head of household. Michael won the overall competition, so he became the HOH at Big Brochella, which means the house guests of Big Brochella will get to live inside the house for 1 week. Which unfortunately for Direfest, that means they will have to live outside for an entire week. So, with that being said, Terrence came in 2nd place, so he became the HOH at Direfest. And it's a shocker because we were not expecting Terrence to pull out that win, but sure enough, he did. So now both HOHs will get to pick who goes to which fest. So let's move on, shall we? So here's Michael, here's Terrence. I have everybody's name in the middle, as you can see. I'm going to show you who picked who to go to their house. We'll start with Alyssa. Alyssa went to Direfest. Brittany went to Big Brochella. No surprise there. Jasmine went to Big Brochella as well. That kind of shocked me a little bit, but I think she should have went outside for the week. Joseph went to Direfest. Kyle also went to Direfest, and that shocked me too, because I'm thinking, why would you not split up Alyssa and Kyle? Like, seriously. Oh, well, anyway, Monty went to Big Brochella. So, we got 2 people left. One's going to Big Brochella, the other's going to Direfest. Taylor went to Big Brochella, which means Turner has to go to Direfest. So once again, Big Brochella consists of Michael, Brittany, Jasmine, Monty, and Taylor, while Direfest consists of Terrence, Alyssa, Joseph, Kyle, and Turner. So these people will be living inside for the week, and these will have to endure the punishments that take place outside. So, right off the bat, now for Big Brochella, it's pretty obvious there are 4 leftovers in the house. So it's pretty obvious who the target is going to be, and that is Jasmine. So we really don't have much drama going on in the house. I think the most drama is going to consist in Dire Fest. So we're not really going to talk about Big Brochella because we already know what the plan is. Jasmine is the target. Here is where the drama takes place. You've got Turner, you've got Kyle, you've got Joseph. They're all supposedly a part of the leftovers. One of them's going to have to see the block this week, especially if they're going to push for Alyssa to go on the block. Now, Kyle wants to make sure that does not happen. He does not want Alyssa to set foot on the nomination block. So, and if you've noticed in the last couple of weeks, he's been teeter-tottering over sticking with the leftovers or saving Alyssa. And I think this is the week he's going to have to make a choice. And sure enough, he did, because he went right to Terrence. In order to save Alyssa's butt, he decides to come clean about the leftovers. He basically blew up his entire alliance. His alliance. He supposedly created the leftovers, and then he's the one who blew it up. This has got messy written all over it. Messy. So, this is already not looking good. So Kyle is sticking his neck out for Alyssa, which means it's pretty clear who the two nominees are going to be. So, again, showing the leftovers. He basically ratted out the entire alliance, and now he's putting Turner and Joseph in the line of fire. So, with that, let's move on to the nominations. We're going to start with the big Brochella nominations before the veto. And there will be two vetoes, by the way. One for Big Brochella, the other one for Dire Fest. We'll talk about them both. For Big Brochella, the nominees are Jasmine, no surprise there, and Monty. Now, that was a shocker. Well, not really, because Michael is more aligned with Brittany and Taylor inside the alliance. And Monty is definitely playing along because he knows that Jasmine is a target and that Brittany and Taylor will have the votes to save his butt. So he's just going along for the ride. The only thing is they have to make sure Jasmine does not win this veto, or else it will spell trouble. Oh, shoot. Forgot to do these. Meanwhile, the Dire Fest nominees are Joseph and Turner. So, Kyle has ratted out the leftovers, and Joseph and Turner are on the block paying for his messy game. Okay, so let's move on to the Big Brochella Power of Veto. This one, the 5 house guests got a special treat because the veto competition was hosted by a familiar face. That name is Tiffany from Big Brother 23 last summer. I remember I had my words to say about Tiffany and all that. You can go back to my channel after the live stream today and hear what I have to say about Tiffany in the Big Brother 23 recap shows. But anyway, Tiffany was looking good. I was trying to find a picture of her from the competition, but I couldn't. So anyway, she hosted the competition. It was it was a competition where you had to guess how many items were scattered on like a display or something. And then you had the option of whether you wanted to stay or fold. So let's see who won the veto at Big Brochella. Winner is Brittany. I'm shocked. I'm amazed. She manifested this win, and honestly, I'm glad because it finally shows that she does not have to rely on Michael to win a competition. She actually won one herself. So, good job, Brittany. Now, moving on to the Dire Fest Power of Veto competition. Now, for this one, they had to create their competition themselves. And the competition was they had a whole bunch of these takeout containers, and they had to stack about 50 of them on 5 platforms without falling over. The first person to complete this would win the Power of Veto. So, I'm sorry. Sorry, I've been up so early. So, after numerous falls and wind blowing, we had a winner for the Dire Fest Veto, and that winner was Terrence. Wow, he just came out of nowhere. Now that this twist is involved, he just starts winning competitions like nothing. So, wow, Terrence, congrats. So, this obviously does not mean good news for Joseph, or maybe even Kyle, because now Kyle is going to heavily push for Joseph to be taken out of the game. And Terrence here, he wants to use his HOH to kind of stir the pot. So, with that, Terrence decides to tell Joseph that Kyle is the one that blew up the alliance. By the way, if anyone's wondering, that's my shade. That's my shady drinking. I'm drinking and I'm looking right at the camera. Because this, again, this has messy written all over it. So, poor Joseph, he's still wondering why he's being put on the block. He feels that he is the target, and now he finds out that his closest ally was the reason for him being nominated. And he wasn't having that. Let me see. Okay. So he wasn't having that. So he decides to confront Kyle and everybody about the leftovers and all that. Doesn't really help his case, though. Sorry, that should have been there. Okay, so anyway, now let's go to the veto ceremonies. We realized that the veto was not used, and obviously it wasn't going to be used if Brittany won it. So there's no need to. Jasmine is still sitting on the block. So these are the final nominees for Big Brochella. Now on Direfest, we have a turn of events. It seems Terrence uses the veto on somebody, and I'm shocked. Let's find out who it is. He uses the veto on Turner. Forget that. So now let's see who is going to take Turner's spot on the nominees on the chopping block. Kyle. Now, why in the world would he use Kyle? Well, now that Joseph's game has been blown up, it seems that putting Kyle on the block would solidify Joseph going home. And also, too, he feels a stronger connection with Turner. So, honestly, they had a perfect opportunity to send Kyle home, but it wouldn't have worked because, one, Alyssa would have voted for Kyle to stay, and Turner could easily vote for Joseph to stay, leaving Terrence to break the tie, and I think that would seal Joseph's fate even more. So, it's not looking good for your boy. So, okay, so we're gonna start with Jasmine. So because they started with Jasmine versus Monty, so because they started with this eviction first on the double eviction, this is going to decide jury member number 2. Because remember, we started jury last time. I'll refresh your memory in a minute, but let's get to the eviction results. Jasmine versus Monty. Now, there's only 2 people voting in this, so it's going to be clear cut. And with Brittany and Taylor both being in the leftovers, I think the decision is pretty clear as to who's going to vote for who. So Brittany voted for Jasmine, obviously, and Taylor voted for Jasmine. So, again, not surprised. So with that, we go to the final results. By a vote of 2-0, Jasmine has been evicted from the Big Brother house. And with that, let's go to our memory wall and update the memory wall, shall we? There we go. Jasmine's picture is now black and white. But we're not done yet because we still got another eviction to get to. But first, Jasmine will now become our second member of the jury, joining Indy. Now, quick reminder, the jury of 9 will decide who wins Big Brother. So, very important that jury management is taken into consideration with these house guests. And on September 25th, all the jury members will be back. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I've been up so early today. On September 25th, all 9 members will reunite to decide the winner. So, and you're going to see out with this presentation that the jury seats are going to fill up pretty quickly. Especially now that we're about to send another person over there. We have Joseph versus Kyle for eviction number 8. Now, again, it's pretty clear. Well, this one's not so obvious. Well, the first one is obvious because Alyssa is not going to vote Kyle out, so she votes Joseph. And Turner's vote is what determines it, basically. And he chooses Joseph. So with that, let's make it official. By a vote of 2-0, Joseph has been evicted from the Big Brother house. I did a little too quickly. All right, and now let's update the memory wall. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now halfway through the game. 8 people have been evicted, and we have 8 people left in the game. Only 6 more evictions before we crown our final 2. And let's send Joseph over to the jury. He will now join Indy and Jasmine at the jury house. So now, let's move on. Now that the double eviction has taken place, it's time for our next head of household competition. Yay. Now the house has reunited, so it's time to start comparing notes and see what's what as we move into the next head of household competition, which is so stress inducing because look at all those tiny cans. You had to stack like six rows of those without them falling over when everyone's got gigantor hands. I should have made a coffee or something before I did this. I'm sorry. Anyway, so this is a stress-inducing competition. I would not do so good with this. But we have a winner. So our head of household is Turner. Congratulations, Turner. Second HOH this season. But this was one he probably did not need to win because this is going to really show his cards this week. And I think now would be a good time to talk about the alliance charts. So obviously we have our leftovers. But with Joseph gone, I should have blacked out his picture. I'm sorry. We also had the Oasis Alliance, which is still intact, but it's kind of morphed into the Pound, as we're learning about in the coming weeks. Was basically the Oasis Alliance minus Michael, because now they see that Michael is a big threat. So, and now we have a new alliance called the After Party. This consists of the remaining players of Direfest, and Turner really has Turner's listening to Kyle's betrayals and all that, and so he's decided to side with him and Terrence because they decide that the people in Big Brochella are running the show, and especially Michael. Michael is at the head of the class. They're all uniting to try to get Michael out of the house. And I think some of the people at Big Brochella is starting to realize that as well, that if they want a shot at winning, they're going to need to get rid of Michael, which is sad to say because I predicted Michael to go all the way, but with his resume for the jury, it's pretty much locked and loaded at this point. Not to mention Michael has had a very successful social game, so he is probably the biggest threat I've seen in a very long time. So let's get right into it. After all the comparing of the notes and seeing what happened at which side, it's time to see the nominees. The nominees pre-veto were Brittany and Taylor. Now, this does not surprise people, especially Michael, because right away he knows that there might be a backdoor plan in brew. brewing. Sorry. There might be a backdoor plan in action. So, how do you orchestrate it? You put his two closest allies on the block. So, Michael is already aware of what's going on, and he's going to gun for that veto. But first, he has to get picked for the veto. So, we have Turner, the head of household, and Brittany and Taylor as the nominees play. And Alyssa and Monty were both chosen by random draw. So now who is the last person that's going to play? Michael. Jeez, Turner is shaking in his boots at this moment. Because if Michael wins this veto, the backdoor plan is a bust. And this one was also a crowd favorite. It was the slip and slide competition. You had to fill a container with liquid and get it all the way to the top to win the veto competition. We normally see this as a head of household competition. So, and this was also advertising the movie Bros, which I'm sure some of you are planning to go see at the end of September. So, I've been seeing a lot of advertising for Bros on certain shows. So, and it will continue as the month goes along. But anyway, let's see who is the winner. This is a very important veto win, especially for Michael. So, the power of veto holder is Michael. Congratulations. Another veto win in the books. I believe that's his, is that his fifth? I think that's his fifth. Yeah, because he won the first one. He won 2 with Brittany. He won the, oh no, that doesn't count. Maybe that's his 4th. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, so now Turner and Terrence are at a loss because the backdoor plan is a bust. So now they need to come up with a replacement nominee. So who can they put up? Or are they going to put up a replacement nominee? Well, actually, yeah, it's going to have to because Michael will likely save Brittany from the block. So they have to put somebody else up. So who can they look to? While this is all happening, some drama is brewing on the side. Allow me to explain the drama that maybe many of you have heard if you watched some of the live feeds or have been following on social media. You might have heard what happened last weekend in the Big Brother house. Not this past weekend that just passed, but it was the first weekend of, no, it was the last weekend of August. So drama began. A few weeks ago, I don't know if I mentioned this on the live stream, but a couple weeks ago, Kyle pitched a plan that there was another Cookout Alliance in the works, calling Cookout 2.0. Now, Kyle was worried about this. Now, most people have the right to assume that there could be a Cookout Alliance, but what he suggested that they do is where they rubbed people the wrong way. He expressed that Michael, Brittany, Turner, and him and Alyssa should all rally up against the Cookout, and that rubbed people the wrong way because it basically would turn into a race war, the whites versus the blacks, and that's something we do not condone that at all. We do not want that to happen. So it rubs so many people the wrong way. People are just fuming at Kyle right now. So he told this to Michael and Brittany. Now, Michael and Brittany's backs are up against the wall, and to ensure that they are safe, they plan to throw Kyle under the bus. So Michael and Brittany decide to go share the news with Terrence, Taylor, and Monty about the Cookout 2.0 suggestion. So now this triggers them completely. I understand that. Yeah, I would be triggered too. So they decide to confront Kyle in a house meeting. And if you've seen Big Brother, you know that house meetings don't always go well. So, and there's a couple videos on YouTube where you can see past house meetings, see how well they ended. But anyway, during the house meeting, they put Kyle on blast. Kyle puts Michael and Brittany on blast, saying, "Why are you talking about me like that? I'm not a racist like that." But apparently the real problem right there is Michael and Brittany supposedly used this information to their advantage to try to throw Kyle under the bus. I can see why people are mad about that, but I can see why people are mad about this. But let me tell you something. Kyle, your back and Melissa's back were up against the wall last week. Didn't you decide to throw your own alliance under the bus and get rid of one of your closest allies? You guys were so close to making it to Final 7, but you said, screw that. You threw your game away for a girl instead of ditching the numbers. You know Alyssa's only one number. You had 6 numbers. Now you want to chastise Brittany and Michael because they were up against the wall and they had to do something. So you threw somebody under the bus, Kyle. Why can't Michael and Brittany throw you under the bus? I'm just saying. Now, I know, and Terrence specifically exaggerated this point. Now, I know Terrence is mad because this Cookout 2.0 thing was blown completely out of proportion. Yes. But the fact that he's pointing the finger at Michael and Brittany, when Kyle basically threw people under the bus last week, it just doesn't add up. It just doesn't. Honestly, it's like I want to give credit to Michael and Brittany, but I know people don't want to give Michael and Brittany credit because of it seems shady. It just seemed really shady, and I'm sad that it looks like that, but it's conflicting. But Kyle blew up those comments out of proportion. I think he had a right to have his opinion about the Cookout 2.0, but I think the way that he wanted to go against that or try to fix the problem, I think was a little off, and he could have said something better. So now Kyle is basically put on blast, and the whole house is pretty much against Kyle at this point, even Alyssa. So we got to see Kyle kind of make up for what he said in front of the house, and I'm actually going to show you the conversation that they had. I'm going to show you the conversation that they had after the whole debacle. So
I'm sorry, bro. I really am. Fuck.
Sorry, man.
There's a different level with you though. Like we've been through the same game from the beginning. So first off, I'm so sorry for what I said up in the have not room. That was inappropriate and out of line from day one. You've done nothing wrong against me at any point, and the fact that I placed judgment was entirely my fault, and I'm so sorry. If you could punch me in the face, that would make me feel a lot better now.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, the reason.
Yeah. In the living room, once you had sort of stated like, yeah, a lot of these thoughts were rooted in race, I was good. You know what I mean? Because in the have not room, when that wasn't,
I didn't want to face that reality.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that was a pretty intense moment. Monty was probably the most hurt, and then Terrence, and then Taylor at the end. Now, all three of them were mad, but I think it hit Monty the worst because you can tell that Monty's had to deal with this. Just by that conversation alone, you can tell Monty has been through this. And to come into the Big Brother house and have that happen again, it really hurts. And Terrence is dang mad at Kyle, but he's more mad at Michael and Brittany, to be honest. And we're going to talk about that next live stream. But I feel for Monty, and honestly, Monty has not done anything wrong. He made a mistake when talking about Taylor back in the beginning of the game, but he has apologized since that. But honestly, and he only won one competition. He hasn't done anything wrong to anybody, and so I think I actually felt bad for Monty in this one. So anyway, so now let's get down to business. Michael uses the power of veto on somebody. Well, you could probably guess who he uses the veto on. Brittany. So now the final nominees are Kyle. I messed up with them. I need to go through my whole PowerPoint before I even do this live stream. Anyway, Kyle is on the block with Taylor. So we move on to eviction number 9, which is Kyle versus Taylor. Okay. So there are 5 votes up for grabs. Let's see who votes for who. Taylor gets goose eggs, meaning no votes, which means everybody else voted for Kyle to be evicted. So let's make it official. By a vote of 5-0, Kyle has been evicted from the Big Brother house. There we go. And now let's update the memory wall. There we go. Almost the entire second row has been turned to black and white. And now let's send Kyle over to the jury house where he will join Indy, Jasmine, and Joseph there until September 25th when we crown the winner. And I hope Joseph welcomes Kyle with open arms because Kyle is the reason Joseph is sitting in jury right now. But I think these 3 are going to be very upset when Kyle has to explain why he's sitting in jury. So especially Jasmine. I can't wait to see this jury session, and I think we're gonna see it happen soon. Are these the people you predicted to win the house? Well, Michael and Brittany, yeah. As much as they're being shady right now, yeah, they are my picks to win. I don't know how to feel about them using the cookout information to their advantage. I'm very torn. So I don't know. But Michael and Brittany were the ones that I picked day 1 to win the whole game. So we're going to see. But now we're getting down to the wire. We got 4 people in jury already. We have 5 more evictions that have to take place. And as you can see on the dates, you see that there are 2 for this coming September 8th, which can only mean one thing. Double eviction is coming. 2 people will be sent to jury, and the final 5 will be named. So it's going to be a critical battle this week, especially on Thursday night when double eviction happens. Now let's get down to the end game schedule. So this Thursday, September 8th, is double eviction night. On the 15th, our final 4 will be named. And then I think on the 22nd, I have yet to get a confirmation about that, but the final 3 will be in place. And September 25th will be the season finale. So let's talk about the Big Brother recap show Endgame. There will be no finale kickoff show this season. I'm sorry. The season finale takes place on a Sunday this year, and well, we have football going on at the house. We're supposed to go to a dinner, me and the family. We're supposed to have a special dinner for my Nana, who is we are reaching the 10th anniversary of her passing, so we're going to have a special dinner to kind of commemorate. And then we will be home in time for the season finale. And we're going to do all that. So I plan to do a finale recap on Monday, September 26th. But of course, that can be scheduled to change. So, but I'm pretty sure I can make it happen. Now let's talk about the Big Brother recap show season finale. So the finale recap will not be my final episode. Actually, I'm going to make it up to you guys for not doing so many. We're going to do an actual season finale on September 29th, where we are going to recap the top 10 Big Brother / Celebrity Big Brother moments of 2022. And this will technically be my last show of 2022. I say technically because during Big Brother off season, I'm going to start watching Big Brother Canada season 1 again, and I will do recap shows for that. They will be periodic live streams, so that's why you gotta like, subscribe, and follow. Get the notification bell for those updates. But on the regular season, this will be the last episode until hopefully a new season of Celebrity Big Brother happens. I would love to see another season happen. So, but yeah, that is the end game schedule. So, all right, that is it for the recap show. Thank you so much for being patient watching the Big Brother recap show. I do have a little announcement. For those who have been wondering where Nick Picks has been, I don't know if I'm going to bring it back. However, I am going to do a special Nick Picks to commemorate the top 50 songs of the summer. These are songs that I listened to the most on my summer playlist. And we'll talk more about it when that comes. But as soon as I get a free chance, or I think we're going to do it like maybe in 2 weeks. Yeah, I think we'll do it in about 2 weeks. So I will share my top 50 songs and we'll do that. So, but until then, my email is nickmorales2012@gmail.com. And make sure to like, subscribe, and get the notification bell so you can see my future live streams. And like I said earlier, you can go back and check out some of the earlier live streams that I've done, especially Big Brother 23. Find out what I had to say about Tiffany back then. But in the meantime, don't forget the double eviction happens Thursday night. It's a 2-hour episode, and we're going to have lots to talk about on the next live stream. So with that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.